May 4th, 1814, Emperor Napoleon I of France arrives on the island Elba to begin his exile, would later state he only accepted the terms because he thought it read exiled on Idris Elba.
Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
And I'm so excited to have our guest on tonight. Making their debut on the show, please welcome the wonderful Priscilla Spangler.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here and for dealing with parking in this area of Denver at this time of night.
Oh, no problem.
You guys, stop moving here. It's a shit show.
One of our all-time latest records, I think. It's nearly 10 o'clock here in the city of Chicago on a weeknight.
I know.
It's a later one than we usually do. So
I peek behind the curtain. Cannot wait for this fucking semester to be done.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And I have classes starting up soon, so it's only going to get more difficult.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Irrelevant. We'll talk about it outside of the recording.
Mazel tov. That's a good point. Zach, what do we do on this show besides talk about each other's schedules and scholastic activities?
We talk about the schedule of the world, as history is sometimes called.
Oh yeah, that famous slang term for history.
Yeah, that your cool 8th grade teacher was like, you know what? This history is just the world's schedule.
How is that a cool teacher? What teacher is that?
You know, Dr. Dre has a schedule, but you know who had the first schedule? Earth.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Imagine me backwards on a chair.
It's just the confidence with which you said that it was really the selling point.
I should record every episode of this with my chair turned backwards and maybe a baseball hat turned backwards as well. Turning things backwards is the official symbol of coolness. I don't know why, like, pants backwards and shirt backwards didn't quite catch on, but everything else.
I mean, it did with crisscross.
That's true, and that was the pinnacle of cool. Everybody else threw in the towel after Crisscross made his debut. Regardless, on this show, we talk about a person or event from history. One of us gives a true, or at least what is commonly considered by the plebeians of the world to be a true account of that person or event from history. And another person gives us a different, less well-known take that can be as batshit banana crazy as that person so declares. Side note, we're currently looking at the history of the Civil War through African-American figures, so everyone is terrified to write the alternate histories.
Yes, we are.
Especially because most of all of the hosts and most of the guests are white people.
Trying to not always fall into that paradigm, but
yeah, we're doing the best with what we were able. Yeah, and at the end we vote on which becomes the true history of this blue, brilliant, spinning disc going forward. That's right, I've become a flat earther since the last episode. No more beautiful blue spinning marble, it's beautiful blue spinning disc.
Oh god.
I should have known when you talked about how all planes are liars.
Yeah. You know what, but of the crazy shit people believe, like anti-vax, that climate change is a myth, mm-hmm. I have to hand it to flat earthers for being the least harmful.
Yeah, I was trying to write a fucking stand-up joke about this. Like,
they are.
Yeah, like anti-vaxxers are going to bring back polio. Yeah. Climate change deniers are going to end the world. Flat earthers, it's like, hey, man, you do your thing. Go to your convention. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'll just be here on a nice round earth. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Consequence-free. No rules. Just right.
Yeah, it's practically
late.
like
I'm losing my mind.
A cute thing your crazy uncle believes, like, I heard beans was made out of kitten paws. And like, that's fine, Grandpa. I don't think anybody cares if you think that.
What an of all the awful things your weird relative could believe, like that's the most adorable one, I feel like.
So it's adorable when kittens have their paws removed.
No, again, I'm being misinterpreted.
Horrible kitten cruelty. Factory kitten farms. Adorable, says Brian Flynn.
They just have little jelly bean toes.
Oh.
I have 2 cats. Their toes are fine. I'll post pictures of my cat's feet later on.
Yes.
Now this is turning into... There's a fetish site for this.
Yeah, I realized I didn't want to...
Quentin Tarantino. Cat Quentin Tarantino.
Cat and Tarantino? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, last time we discussed Alan Allensworth. A minister, a freed slave, a man who founded a town in California, a very inspirational figure from the Civil War era. Brian, what were the ultimate results of that particular episode?
Well, since I'm trying to get back on schedule recording these in advance, we don't know yet. The vote is still up on Patreon. So I believe as of right now, the alternate is ahead.
Fair enough.
But change it. Vote.
Yeah.
Do your part, I guess.
I think the week before that was Sojourner Truth. Is that right?
Yes,
I'm going to go out
indeed.
on a limb and say the Real History won on that
Yes. Don't fuck with that.
one. This week, we are discussing, I believe, Mary Meachum.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah. So, wait, remind me, who has the real story this week?
Priscilla.
Priscilla has the real story. Yes. So, if you're ready to take us down a journey through the annals of history, the schedule of history, flip back that schedule book to 18 something,
Jesus
All
fucking
right.
and we'll
Christ.
come along on the ride.
Hey there, this is Brian reminding you that The Revisionist is supported by listeners just like you. You can make a pledge and get rewards like shirts and even the right to vote over at patreon.com/therevisionists.
Here we are in 18-something. Mary Meachum was an American abolitionist. She, in 1815, her owner took her to Missouri, where her husband, he wasn't her husband at the time, but where this guy named John Barry Meachum, he purchased her freedom. She was born into slavery in Kentucky. They ran a school at the First of African Baptist Church, and then they later moved it to a steamboat on the Mississippi when Missouri banned education for blacks in 1847.
They moved the whole school onto a
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty badass.
Oh, it's
and
like
then-
a whimsical children's novel, except also slavery was involved.
Yeah, so it's basically a Roald Dahl novel then.
Yes. Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Problematic.
Ooh. Her husband died, and then she herself ran their home as like a safe home for slaves. And then on May 21st, 1855, she was attempting to ferry 9 people across the Mississippi to freedom, and she was arrested for breaking fugitive slave law. She was arrested for that. Okay, that was great.
Sorry, I interrupted by trying to do
no.
the fucking Instagram post for the episode. I picked the worst fucking times to do that.
Brian spends half of every episode taking Instagram selfies, just rearranging his... Nobody else. He doesn't consult with anybody else, but he has to make sure he has the perfect
I wonder
lighting.
what my face looks like.
He has
I'm
some
afraid.
lip gloss on the table that he always hides.
I think the camera went inside my mouth at one point, so
Oh,
you're all
perfect.
fine. Like,
We just got to see your molars. It's great.
I don't have dental insurance. This is the only thing I can do.
How does this look, you guys? Anybody? Okay.
He bought
back
some
to
of those,
Mary.
those yokel teeth you can buy at gift shops. Brian just bought
Yeah.
some of those when his regular teeth fell out and wears them all the time.
Yeah, some of those, some chiclets. Just kind of jam them in there. My gums are incredibly soft. Don't know why.
They fit in there so well.
Anyway.
Anywho, we were talking about her. She was arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then on July 19th of 1855, she was tried and acquitted of at least one charge, and then all of the other charges were dropped. She died in St. Louis in on August. They don't have the actual date, but 1869. And her husband are memorialized in the Bellefontaine Cemetery in St. Louis. And then November 1st, 2001, the Mary Meachum Freedom Crossing was established in St. Louis. And I guess it's like just a little bike path or something. I don't know. I looked it up on like YouTube, and there was just this woman riding her bike on it. So pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And this is like where we talk about like one of the problems or at least I've run into trying to curate topics for this particular section.
Yeah.
Is that you have certain people like you have Sojourner Truth, you have Frederick Douglass, who will probably be like the last one in the series.
Yeah,
who,
your
like, you have,
Tubman's
like,
Harriet, your Du Bois WEBs.
Yeah. Did you say your Tubman's Harriet?
Yeah, and your
Yeah,
Du
it's like
Bois
attorneys general.
WEBs. Correct. Yeah.
But like you have certain people, especially those who like wrote their own biographies, who you have a bunch of information on.
Yeah.
And then you have other people who did a lot of really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Who just because of who got to write biographies,
Yeah.
more or less, and who got to keep records and who decided what records were important to keep.
Yeah.
We don't have like a lot of information about them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. I am dying.
Not yet.
God, I love that bit about moving an entire school onto a steamboat
Yeah.
to evade the law.
Fucking awesome. Am I allowed to cuss? I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah,
Okay,
fucking
cool. Didn't even
yeah. Hit
to ask. Okay.
him with those fuck words. Just let her rip.
Okay.
Because also my alternate history is mad short, so we might as
Yeah.
well just like throw in extra swear words.
Okay.
I think to pad
Cool,
out the
perfect.
length of this episode.
Perfect. We'll just have 5 minutes of
Perfect.
every single cuss word we can think of.
Yeah, I'll be a fucking like Andrew Dice Clay routine.
Yeah.
We'll just play most of a NWA album.
Oh yeah.
Now our standard NWA interlude, which will last approximately 25 minutes.
And of course, to go along with the NWA interlude, we now play the entirety of Daddy Daycare with Ice
yes.
Cube.
Oh, so it's actually the longest episode we've ever had by several
By
hours.
several orders of magnitude. I am going to go overboard in correcting this. So we're going to
Yeah,
do the Daddy
by
Daycare
the-
thing. We're going to do NWA.
All of this will play back at 1/4 speed as the normal speed on your iPod. So crank it up.
Sorry. Can I correct you really quick?
Yeah.
Daddy Daycare was Eddie Murphy.
Which one was Ice Cube in?
The other.
Are we
the one
there
who
yet?
looked
I
like
think.
he had kids. Which one?
Are
was
we
it?
there yet?
Are we there yet? That's right.
No, he was
And the
also in like
sequel, Are We Still There Yet?
Yeah.
Also?
Are we still here? Oh my god.
That's a very like existential. Are we still here?
Yeah, and then
Like
of course the
sad
third
family comedy.
the third
Pretty
part of the
sad.
trilogy, of course, Where is God? Starring Ice Cube. Are you literally looking up Are We There Yet right now?
No,
think
I was
so.
looking up Daddy Daycare.
Daddy Daycare. Yeah. It's Eddie Murphy.
It is Eddie.
Haha.
Daddy Daycare 2, aka Daddy Day Camp,
Daddy Day Camp.
is Cuba Gooding Jr. Oh.
Oh, interesting.
You know what, Brian? Whatever you had planned for your alternate history, fuck it. What you need to do now is find the screenplay for Daddy Daycare. change one of the character names to Mary Meachum.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, part of the challenge, part of the reason nobody wants to do the alternate histories for this is to avoid shit like that. I did also find my way to Drew's Scriptorama.
Plug for Drew's
Are we reading the
Scriptorama.
script to Daddy
I
Daycare?
mean, we might as well. This might be.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fucking table read.
Oh man, I'm excited.
Okay. Fade in. Exterior. The Daddy Daycare. Okay, I got nothing. I'm
Yeah.
tapped out.
I don't remember
Abandoning the bit in record time.
It's really more mercy killing the bit. I feel like at a certain point, it's delaying the inevitable.
We all need to hit up some fucking UCB classes on this one.
I'm trying to work on this Daddy Daycare thing. This very one specific thing for a podcast that released 3
I want to be
years
able
ago.
to perform improv for more than 15 seconds.
It's very, very short form improv. That's what I like. So, Priscilla, thank you.
Yes.
But I mean, we could talk about so many different things for Mary Meachum's alternate history. Like, on the Daddy Daycare thing, we could talk about her brothers, Gary, Harry, and Larry Meachum.
I thought you were going to say Gary Daycare from
Gary Daycare. And they opened up a daycare.
Yeah. Called Zaddy Daycare.
No, they started a band called the Meach Boys. I don't know. Or how a character in the stage play version of Saved by the Bell was named Meach in her honor.
The stage play version of Saved by the Bell,
Yeah.
where they I presume Screech was the one they renamed, unless they introduced a new character named Meach.
It was actually Principal Belding.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. It's more dignified than Screech. And she had a brief venture into pharmaceuticals with Meachum's Leachums, which she had the good sense to pull from the market.
Sounds a little like a con, but okay.
I mean, all medicine was a con at that point. This is the
And
age.
most still
Cocaine.
is.
Yeah, it's cocaine
Yeah.
or snake oil. That's your only choices. And, like, I could get Kaiser to cover one of those right now, probably. Again, no dental insurance. I can fill my mouth with snake oil, though.
Yeah. I thought
Just-
it was Adderall. Could you get him to give you an Adderall
Yeah,
prescription, possibly?
I could, but I don't want to lose my edge, is the thing.
thing.
And also, snake oil is what Brian calls the liquor he makes in his bathtub. He fills his mouth with snake oil every night.
I do have a bottle of snake wine actually sitting on this very table.
What?
Um,
That's a real thing?
Yeah.
What do
it's-
you do? Do you step on the snakes like grapes?
My sister got it for me in Cambodia.
Oh.
So there's like a baby cobra in it, a dead baby cobra, and then they just pour like grain alcohol over it.
And call it wine?
Yeah, and it's
Oh.
not tasty
No, I wouldn't guess.
because it tastes like a dead snake in your mouth.
Did you drink it?
I like had like half of like a tenth of a capful.
Oh my
Was
God.
it bad?
Yes, it was very bad.
Well, I don't support this fucking cruelty to cobras wine where you kill a baby cobra. Just
It
have a
was a
fucking-
gift. I didn't.
You know what?
You
When we
didn't
would have
kill it.
shitty liquor in Chicago, we just have Malort, like normal people who want to ruin their own day.
This is not like a Chicago thing. This is not like a regional conflict. This is not like deep dish versus actual pizza.
Yeah, it's like animal cruelty versus not animal cruelty is
Again,
what it's
did
like.
not request it. Merely received it. Bad? Yes, but you know what? I should edit that out just in case like the TSA is listening.
Yeah, the TSA is really interested in this fucking podcast. The same way they're interested in catching people with weed at DIA. They're really interested in that.
They actually make people listen into full episodes of this podcast before they can let them through security.
Yeah.
Like they'll let you plow through a whole edible. Anyway, I've never done marijuana. What am I talking about?
plow through a whole edible.
Plow through it.
Did that sound like a narc? Because I'm definitely not one of those.
A little bit.
Yeah, hold up one
narky.
gummy and be like, I'm gonna plow through this edible.
Is that not what they say?
Call me Homer Simpson, because I'm also Mr. Plow. Quote Brian Flynn about eating an edible.
That's a great impression of me when I do weed. Like I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You do weed?
Love
I do weed.
doing weed.
I do weed.
Just mainline.
Yeah, you enjoyed this recent April the 20th, the traditional weed day.
Yes, happy weed day.
Oh, your chibas were so sick and fatty bombaddy on April the 20th.
Is it... Wait. Oh, God, who was it?
Are you sure you're not on weed right now?
Maybe. Damn it. Oh, fuck, I can't remember. The rapper who did the It Wasn't Me song.
If you were going to say the rapper
Shaggy.
who smokes
Shaggy.
weed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Shaggy...
Yeah.
Is Fatty Bombaddy a Shaggy thing?
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's something a white guy came up with and said a black guy said.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Although, side note, speaking of 420...
I'll bet
this is how-
Jason Mewes came up with it. I think literally, if I had to guess, it's like
Jason
Jay and
Mraz.
Silent Bob Strike Back. Like it came from Jay
Jason
and
Mewes
Silent
is
Bob.
Kevin Smith's Jason Mraz.
Yeah, it sounds like something Kevin Smith made up for sure.
Probably, yeah.
There was I saw a 420 sandwich being sold down the street from where I work. Either I need to get out of the city or everyone else needs to get out of the city. Because it had fried chicken and mozzarella sticks, disco fries,
Oh my god.
a cream sauce, and it was, anyway, fried ravioli. Fried ravioli
Oh my
was also
God.
on that sandwich.
I'd eat a bite, but
I would
no more than that.
I would scoop everything out and not eat the bread.
Oh,
Carbs,
that'd be good.
but
Brian, don't you mean what you would do is you'd get mega high on that ookie gookie and plow through your sandwich?
was Ookie Gookie a Teletubby?
Yep.
I'm sure, yeah.
Anyway.
Do you know that the baby who played the son? I actually saw this clickbait link the other day. And it's a picture of the baby who was the son in Teletubbies, and it said beneath it, the baby who played the son in Teletubbies is hot now. And that was the clickbait.
That's a trap. That has to be a trap.
Is the baby
Well, that
hot?
baby... I don't know. I
Should I
looked
not
up,
say, is
I
the
didn't
baby
click
hot?
the link, but I looked up I looked up that show, and the baby would be 22 years old now. So
Yeah.
legally the baby could be hot now.
So legally, you can Google hot Teletubbies baby question mark.
Yeah. And that's just a thing that's going to be attributed to me forever. Quote, legally the baby could be hot now.
Could be a hot baby.
They're just going to be playing that over and over, just on a loop in hell.
Or at my funeral, just clip that one piece of audio and that say Zach has some final words before.
That's going to be our new theme music, is just that with some drums underneath it.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
So, we could talk about a lot about Mary Meachum. Oh, man. We could put the padding at the end, too. We could do that. But like so many people who are driven by a greater purpose, Mary Meachum died with unfinished business. Mm. And we all know that when people die with unfinished business, they come back as ghosts, phantoms, spirits, visitors, whatever you want to call them, the other ones. And so she now walks the spirit ways between the next world and this one, and she uses her experience as a guide on the Underground Railroad to reach out to those to Black families in crisis throughout history. Like in the 1890s, she helped them escape violence in the South, or segregation in the 1960s, the racist justice system in the 2010s, and she hasn't.
And then everything was fine.
No.
Job completed.
I literally have a line explaining that. I was going to say, she hasn't been able to rest in a century and a half. And for the foreseeable future, sadly, her work will probably continue, but...
At least for 50 years when climate change ends racism by killing everyone.
Climate change. I am rooting for that scary Teletubbies baby to melt the polar ice caps and end racism by default.
Yes. I did a Google image search for baby from Teletubbies, and it's a woman, and she looks like a normal person. She's fine.
Oh, you looked her up?
Wow,
I Googled baby from Teletubbies, and she's just she's like a college kid.
Normal?
Just like trying to live a normal life.
She apparently a couple years ago she revealed herself as she called a press conference.
Oh shit.
Literally I got baby FRO and the first result on Google was baby from Teletubbies now. So I don't know who
There's also the Nevermind baby.
What's that?
The Nevermind baby.
Oh, the Nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he looks normal.
The difference
there's
is
the fucking Jonathan Lipnicki.
Oh shit!
The less said about him, the better.
It's weird to be the Nevermind baby because it's one of those things where technically everybody's seen your dick.
Yeah, that's true. Are they gonna just show his?
Or they had a poster of your dick in their dorm room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody
had a baby dick in their dorm room. That's real weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even
Not
think of that.
Not everybody. Some people had a Boondock Saints poster.
Oh, okay.
And everybody had a baby arm in their... not going to finish that one.
Thank you.
Drawer.
Just
they killed
I saw
babies.
the look of disappointment in yourself come across your eyes.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have said baby dick. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's over.
We were headed down that road anyway.
I already did it.
It's late on a school night. We're doing some padding. Not a lot of primary sources on Miss Meachum.
It's true. Literally, the only other thing I had was racist white people called her Scary Meachum, and she became like...
a Candyman kind of figure?
Yeah, exactly. Which, again, very hard to write these alternate histories in a respectful way that's also entertaining.
Quibble with Candyman that is not original to me, but was pointed out on the very good documentary on Shudder called Horror Noir, A History of Black Horror. Why did Candyman terrorize the mostly black poor residents of Cabrini Green instead of the rich assholes who lived just across the river, who actually are related to the people who murdered him in the first place?
Yeah.
Get on your game, Candyman. Figure it out. Hey, Jordan Peele. I know you're remaking Candyman, and I'm going to pretend I know more about making movies than you do by telling you, have Candyman kill the white people this time.
Yeah. I mean, I love Candyman. I'm almost more excited for the remake than I am to revisit the original ever again.
The game? I love that game too. Just kidding.
Yeah, Candyman, the board game.
Oh, Candyman. I thought you said Candyland.
Oh, you were confused for a lot of this conversation.
Sorry.
What was Candyland doing killing
Candyland
people in a Chicago housing
Yeah.
project? Were certain members of the poor African-American 1990s Chicago community being stuck in the fudge muck?
I mean, America is a fudge muck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
It's a fudge muck.
Yeah, it was a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've downgraded to a fudge mug.
That's the alternate history of Mary
Great.
Meachum, who, in my not wanting to do a disservice to her, I probably ended up accidentally doing a disservice to her.
To be fair, it's not worse than like her leg. You know what? I'm going to save it for my judgment.
Okay, cool. Well, listeners, before we move on, I want to remind you of our ongoing screenshot the review you write of us. We'll give you a t-shirt contest thing. Go ahead and write a review and send a screenshot to revisionistpodcast@gmail.com
Tell
along
us-
with your deets.
Write a review telling us if you think the baby from Teletubbies is hot now.
Yeah, feel free to leave that commentary in there.
Yeah.
We'll not pay attention to it as it makes me very uncomfortable. Imagine that.
She's not that much younger than us. She's,
I mean, it's not so
years-
much that as just like
7 years younger than us.
It's not so much that as the idea of like reviewing someone's hotness.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
Also, I keep
The
thinking
real
like,
classic
of course that baby's
Zuckerberg
hot. They
move.
were the sun, but like that's
Yeah.
I feel like the moment for that joke has passed.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. We should not be circa 2004 Mark Zuckerberg about this. Yeah.
Or probably circa 2019 Mark Zuckerberg, who
But more privately.
just started a podcast.
Yeah, what? You have so little time on your fucking We do a podcast because we have nothing going on.
I feel like I can't wait for him to experience the frustration of buying Facebook ads.
Oh my god, I'm sure that it's going to be insufferable, and I hope there's an episode where, like, he and Joe Rogan are on the same episode, and it's peak insufferable podcast.
And Elon Musk drops by.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, that guy's the worst.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
They're all bad.
They're all
Speaking
bad.
of
They're
people
all
who
Candyman,
smoke,
real
please.
bad people.
speaking of people who smoked fatty boom baddies, Elon Musk famously in that podcast appearance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, yeah. So much. I have very strong opinions about Elon Musk.
Do you
And the
think
song
he-
Neon
what
Guts,
is your opinion
which
on-
rhymes Neon Guts with Elon Musk, and I hate it so much.
Yeah. Dude, I think he officially at this point has ruined Grimes, who is now talking about how, like, actually I think capitalism is the solution to our
Oh my
problems.
God.
I did not know who Grimes was before Elon Musk and them started.
Yeah, that
dating.
makes
She's
sense.
got some real weird music.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pictured her as like a Mitski type at first.
You know what
Yeah.
I never really listened. I knew vaguely who Grimes was, but I didn't listen to her music or actually know what she like looked like before the Elon Musk thing. So I always pictured Grimes from the classic episode of The Simpsons.
Me too. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I,
And
like,
her relationship with Elon Musk is the scene where she grabs the unprotected electrical cords and kills herself.
I mean, I've been picturing Elon Musk dating like the cartoon character of Frank Grimes, and that kind of makes it better
Yeah.
a little bit.
In
But
case
also,
you listeners don't know, that's from the classic episode, Homer's Nemesis, I think it's called.
I think it's Homer's enemy.
Homer's Enemy.
Classic.
I need to rewatch that show.
Yep. We all need to rewatch seasons 1 through like 10,
Yeah.
maybe. We're being generous with
Yeah.
that show.
That's pretty generous, yeah.
Sorry. Listeners, you can also leave us a comment, ask us a question, reach out to us at revisionistpodcast.com, which also I mentioned last time our sudden surge of listeners in Sweden who are now being upstaged by listeners in France. I don't know what's happening in Europe.
This is bots, right? Like, is this part of the Russian scheme to impact 2020?
I don't know. If so, continue, because this will have no power.
Yeah. Focus most of your efforts on the Revisionist podcast.
Really, if bots subscribe to this podcast, I feel like that will still get us, like, bumped up in the algorithm a little bit.
And, well, yeah, it won't do anything else. Otherwise, their plot will fail spectacularly.
Also, The Revisionist is a proud member of the Denver Podcast Network, along with such shows as One More Shot, which features people's reinvention stories, hosted by Elaine Grant, formerly of Colorado Public Radio. It's a really great show. Check that out, and all the other shows at denverpodcast.net. Also, real quick, I forgot to mention social meds. There's a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Revisionist Podcast on all those and say hi to us. There's a Tumblr, but I stopped paying attention to it because Tumblr is awful to use.
And go ahead and just, when you're looking up those sites, just don't use the phrase social meds.
Yeah, don't. You don't have to do that. And go ahead and don't Google Revisionist Podcast hosts hot now ?
Yeah.
because
you won't get any results, first of all.
Wait, what?
You'll get 0 results, first of all.
They'll say, did you mean Malcolm Gladwell hot now?
Yeah.
But Priscilla's a great comedian here in Denver. Anytime you get a chance to see her, please do.
Thank you.
Do you have any any social medias people can reach out to you on, or like a Twitter?
Yeah, I do have a Twitter.
I could not remember your Twitter handle offhand. That's why I asked in that very stilted way. I can't remember my
Twitter handle offhand either, so it's fine. It's just at Priscilla Susan.
Tight,
yeah.
it sounded like there was something else, like 420 coming after that.
Just that.
So I got a few things to note real quick.
Okay.
First, if you Google hosts from Revisionists Hot Now, the first result is obviously one of Malcolm Gladwell's episodes, but the first image result is a picture of Trump and a woman and Billy Bush, and it's about the famous quote, the Access Hollywood footage.
Oh.
A lot of these results are about Trump, I'm not gonna lie. So no is the answer to your question. Are the Revisionist hosts hot now? No, they are not. All these pictures of Trump and Jeb Bush, for some reason, prove it.
Well, I gotta start uploading hot photos of us. Just
but this does cycle back to maybe there's some kind of Russian scam going on.
God, it all fits together. Are we Russian, Zach?
Are we in the redacted Mueller report?
Zoinks. Zach, did you
it would explain why our Mueller 007 left so many reviews on our iTunes
page. Zach, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
No, I'm good. Just that Google that thing I told you to Google.
Yeah, that's Zach's plug.
Just Google it.
As for me, Queen City Companion, the all false storytelling show, I co-host with Jen Colick, friend of the show. The next one will be June 6th at Mutiny Information Cafe here in Denver.
Does she graduate to a higher rank, like, at a certain point, like, from friend of the show to, like, person I'm married to now?
Yes, I mean, I feel weird saying that, but I also, like, I don't want to blow up her
What was
spot.
weird how in your vows that's what you said. Jen, you've been a friend. It was weird how in your vows that's what you described her as.
Oh yeah, friend of the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want to blow up her spot. June 6th. It's the first Thursday of every month. And it's a great show. It's a podcast also that I do not have any control over, so take that for what you will. It's released under Mutiny Transmissions, along with Mutiny Book Club, also co-hosted by Jen Colick and friend of the show, who I'm not married to, Byron Graham. And there's a bunch of other shows released under the Mutiny Transmissions label, so check those out. But Zach, I believe you are judging this episode?
Yeah. So this week, you talked about how you weren't sure your story preserved the legacy of Miss Mary Meachum. But here's the thing. The real story ends with someone naming a bike path after her, which is pretty damn cheap in the first place. I feel like the lowest rung of people, there are like employees of the month from Dunkin' Donuts who got bike paths named after them somehow. So I think a better thing, and it's because the stories we know about her are so sparse, but it seems like she did some great things and helped many people to their freedom. I think a better legacy for her is to become an anti-racism vengeance demon instead of a bike path. So for that reason, I think I will go with the alternate history this time.
I appreciate that, and thank you. But to be fair, she did not become the bike path.
That's how it works. Yeah, whatever. That is literally what occurs, Brian. When something is named after you, become that thing.
So if I give enough money, I could become a hospital wing.
Yeah, or a library. Or if you don't spend that much money, like an orange pylon.
Wait, who sponsors those to begin with?
I don't know, people who want to be reincarnated but don't got a lot of money.
It's true. I shouldn't. I really should not be this classist when it comes to the next life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Stephen Colbert's going to be reincarnated
as like a bathroom stall somewhere on the Aurelia campus.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
that's the dream.
Yeah.
Well, Priscilla, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Zach, thank you as always.
Of course, and thank you to the listeners for listening to this, our very late night rambling ass padded episode.
Editing this, I'm going to edit this like next week before it comes out. I'm not going to remember most of what happened here tonight.
Yeah. There was a lot of filling up the airwaves on this one, and it is officially pretty late.
Yeah. For everyone here at The Revisionist, I'm Brian Flynn.
I am Zach Powers.
Have a good time.